Welcome to The Explainer. So, you're a creator, you run a small business, and you've probably hit this wall. How do I get this amazing design that's on my screen onto a real t-shirt that actually looks and feels incredible? Right? You've poured hours into that logo, that piece of art, that perfect slogan. It looks amazing on your computer. But you know that journey from pixel to physical product? It can be surprisingly tricky. Choosing the right printing technology is, and I mean this, absolutely crucial. So today, we're going to break down the biggest players in the game to help you find the perfect match for your vision. So let's meet the four main contenders in the custom printing arena. Each one is kind of a specialist with its own unique strengths, and trust me, by the end of this, you'll know exactly which tool is right for your job. First up, we've got the OG, the titan of the industry, screen printing. This is the traditional method you probably picture in your head. It involves creating a separate mesh screen, basically a stencil, for each color in your design, and then you push the ink through it. It is an absolute workhorse, and for big jobs, it's a legend for a reason. Next, we have direct-to-garment, or just DTG, and the name really gives it away. This method works almost exactly like your desktop inkjet printer at home, but instead of paper, it sprays a special ink directly onto the fabric. Its real specialty is printing on 100% cotton. Now for something that feels a little bit like science fiction, sublimation. This is a pretty fascinating process where a special ink is heated until it turns into a gas. That gas then infuses and permanently bonds with the polyester fibers themselves. The result is a print you literally can't even feel, and it's made specifically for polyester fiber. And finally, the modern all-rounder, direct-to-film, or DTF. With this one, your design is printed onto a special film, and adhesive powder is added, and then the whole thing is transferred to the garment with a heat press. As we're about to see, its incredible versatility, well, that's its superpower. Okay, so we've met the players. Now, let's put them head-to-head. We're going to judge them on the three things that matter most for any project: how complex your design is, the fabric you want to print on, and, of course, how well the final product is going to hold up over time. Let's start with design complexity. Now, the key difference here is really about technology. Screen printing is analog. Think about it. A 5-color logo needs 5 separate physical screens to be made. That makes it really tough and expensive for photos or designs with smooth color fades. DTF, on the other hand, is totally digital. It has no limits like that and can print millions of colors with stunning precision, making it perfect for the most detailed artwork you can dream up. Okay, now let's talk about the fabric itself. This is where DTG, or Cotton Specialist, starts to show its limits. It really shines on 100% cotton. If you want to print on polyester or even blends, you need a chemical pretreatment. And you can still get something called dye migration. That's where the color of the shirt literally bleeds into your print. Not great. But DTF, it is famously flexible. Because the design is transferred as a self-contained layer, it works beautifully on pretty much anything. Cotton, poly, nylon, you name it, with zero pretreatment needed. And this brings up one of the biggest hurdles in custom apparel: printing on dark garments. Sublimation, well, it just can't do it. There's no white ink in the process, so any design you put on a dark shirt would just be invisible. DTF solves this problem perfectly by first printing a base layer of really opaque white ink and then printing your colors right on top of it. And the result? You get vivid, true-to-life colors on any garment, no matter how dark it is. But what about durability? I mean, how long is your design actually going to last? This is where screen printing is still the undisputed champion. The ink sinks deep into the fabric, so these prints are the gold standard, easily lasting 100 washes or more. DTF is also really durable, rated for over 50 or 60 washes. But where it really shines is the feel. The DTF transfer is an incredibly thin, flexible layer that actually stretches with the fabric, so it resists cracking and feels so much softer to the touch. Okay, let's pull all this together. This chart gives you a fantastic at-a-glance comparison. You can see DTF scores really high across the board, especially on fabric versatility. But look closer. Screen printing is right there at the top for durability, and sublimation and DTG tie for the softest possible feel. And hey, notice that last row? Minimum order. Screen printing's intense setup means you have to order in bulk. With digital methods like DTF, you can print just one single piece. And that brings us perfectly to the business side of things. See, it's not just about how the print looks and feels, but it's also about the cost, the speed, and the scale of your operation. The economics can be just as important as the technology itself. And wow, this chart really drives that point home. A full screen printing operation is a massive investment, both in money and in space. A DTG printer is a bit more moderate, but a DTF setup has a remarkably low upfront cost, which makes it incredibly accessible for small businesses and startups to get in the game and start making professional-grade stuff. Yeah, and the economic advantages don't stop there. With DTF, there's no time-consuming setup creating and cleaning screens, which means less labor. And because you can print the transfers and then apply them to shirts only when an order comes in, you can run a print-on-demand business. That means no more guessing sizes and holding on to a huge, expensive inventory of pre-printed shirts. You know, this quote from our research really just puts a pin in it. For modern brands that need to be agile, offer a ton of variety, and say yes to almost any customer request, DTF offers a powerful blend of quality, flexibility, and cost-effectiveness that's really, really hard to beat. So with all this information, how do you actually decide? Let's simplify everything down into a clear, practical framework you can use for your very next project. It really just boils down to these two questions. First, what are you making? A photorealistic picture on a dozen dark polyester jackets? DTF is going to be your hero. A simple two-color logo on cotton tees? DTF is great, but screen printing is also a fantastic option. And second, how many do you need? For a massive run of 1,000 identical shirts for a marathon, screen printing's cost per shirt is unbeatable. But for small runs, custom one-offs, or an entire online store with tons of different designs, a digital method like DTF is the clear winner. Ultimately, all this technology is just a tool. The real magic is in your ideas. By understanding how these tools work, you're now fully equipped to choose the perfect one to bring your unique vision to life. So the only question left is, what will you create? Thanks for watching The Explainer.